Welcome, all my friends, to For Your Information. I'm joined by Ben and Matt, as usual. The crew is back here again, bringing you another episode. And hopefully we have a good one today, boys, I'm hoping we're all warmed up, I think, all fired up for this one.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Um,
I'm pretty keen.
Yep.
not too sure what we got. I've kind of just jumped in on this, but I'm pretty sure there's a few good hot topics to,
Yeah,
spread our
well,
words out for.
me and Ben have just been going over a few topics, warming up, could we say, Ben?
Yeah, warming
And I
up.
feel
And
like there's a few we can talk
there's
about.
it's a
But
bit of very busy news week. Yeah.
first of
Oh,
all, I would
no.
like to start. I would like to start if you don't mind, of course.
No, go
Shoot.
for it.
Right. So I've been working today this week, right? And I've been hearing a few things over the radio, and I thought to myself, fuck, I'd love to bring this up in the podcast. I'm hearing that our government is contemplating sending our troops to go train Ukrainian troops in the fight of Russia.
They've been
And
shooting that around a little bit.
I know.
I
I'd
don't
like
think it's
to
as
see what you
serious
think.
as maybe it's like we're only sending them to train the troops. Like U.S. commandos, British commandos, they're all doing the same thing. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
but I don't really feel like we should.
we're already helping them out enough. We fucking send them.
I mean,
What are those
don't get
bush
me,
rangers?
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm more than happy to send them humanitarian aid, military aid, like in the sense of weapons and stuff. But I don't feel like we should get actually boots on the ground helping out the Ukrainians. You know what I mean?
Our country's always loved to get in. Like we've always loved to get
Well,
involved in shit like this.
look at Vietnam, Afghanistan. What good come out of that?
Pretty much every
It's not.
conflict of the 20th century was a proxy war.
They're all
Legit.
proxy wars. Like none of them has anything to do with us.
We should.
We
That
just
doesn't
like
mean that
throwing
doesn't mean you
fucking
should
people around.
submit to it. Sorry for
I,
speaking over
I
you.
think we should throw in. Like not troops fighting, but like I don't understand why we need to send specialists over there to train them, especially when like you've already got the British and Americans doing it.
But
It
it's
makes
not
no
our
real.
war.
It's none of our business.
I mean, again, I respect your opinion, but like, it's not our war. We shouldn't be whatever with the aid and shit, but we shouldn't be fucking sending advisors there.
Oh, I'm just sitting on the fence for this one. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's like there's no real cost to it. Like you saying like the Vietnam and the Afghanistan, yeah, they're not great for us, but we're not sending troops to fight. We're just in the background, kind of just training
Well,
troops up.
we did for both of those wars.
We sent troops to fight.
Yeah,
We're not sending
but
troops to
it
fight.
started off with sending advisors. Well, Vietnam, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about Afghanistan, but yeah, I'm pretty sure with Vietnam we just sent advisors, and then it turned into boots on the ground.
That's pretty much how it went. Yeah. I mean, it happened the same with the United States. They did the exact same thing after the Gulf of
Mhm.
Tonkin, which, by the way, was a fucking fabricated joke to pull the US into the war.
Anyway, that's a different generation, Ben.
A different generation, a different topic, maybe. Yeah.
We
Yes.
should be more focusing locally, like
Absolutely we should.
policing like like Solomon Islands, getting that fucking controlled first.
That's also none of our business.
That's more of our business than Ukraine.
Is it Australian soil?
Yeah.
That's 200 kilometers off our coast that China is setting up fucking naval bases in.
Do they fly
That-
Australian flags?
That's not the case, man. They're
Well, then it's
they're
none of our
signing
business.
security packs with them. We
Then
let
it's none of our
China
business.
exert all their fucking like influence around us, and we just sit here.
I'd rather be dead than red. So I agree with Lucas here that I think we should settle that.
You'd rather intervene in the business of foreign countries for your own interest?
Yes.
It's not, but they're asking for help, and they're getting help from the people that want to fuck us around. It's a completely different topic compared to what's going on in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like we weren't aiding them. We weren't sending what they want. Like, yeah, we probably shouldn't just fucking send whatever people ask for, But like at the same time, they were pretty shitty. Like the riots that were going on against their own government, they were asking for help and stuff like that, and like we should have picked a side for it and maybe helped one side. Like they were both asking for help. I'm pretty sure both sides were.
I think
I'm
that'd
not-
make us no better than the United States government meddling in the foreign affairs of.
Yeah, but if you don't, then someone else does, and it's that someone else that
And-
doesn't give a shit about us. Like they fucking like. I don't know, Ben. You isolate yourself. The world goes to shit around you, and then eventually you get picked off when it all fucking settles down.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree on moral grounds. I don't think it's even remotely appropriate to twiddle. It'd be like if I watched my neighbour from the back window try to dig a hole, and I didn't like my neighbour, so I started fucking filling it with dirt at night. Do you think that's appropriate?
I don't think that's the situation. I
It's
think the
exactly the
situation is
situation.
your neighbor is digging a hole and he asks you for an excavator and you're like, nah. But you were getting invited to his like barbecue cookouts, every weekend, and you're like, nah, I don't really want to. So the other guy on the other side, decides to help him out, and now he gets invited to the barbecues that you wanted to attend, and now you can't go to the barbecues anymore. And now you're like, well, fucking, I've got no barbecues to go to, and the other cunt across the road's getting them because he decided to help the cunt dig a hole. It's not like we're trying to fuck the cunts, like trying to fuck this guy's hole up. He just asked for some help, and we didn't help him, so the other guy's helping him, and they reap the reward.
That's actually a fair argument. I'll
And
concede
now
to
they're
that.
starting. Now they're playing music really loud that you're trying to go to sleep, and they're partying next door to you. And now you're getting pissed off because they're just like the other neighbors like influenced him to have a mad rave party every weekend, and you're not invited, and now you're just listening to loud music trying to get to bed. And then one day they just like start like throwing eggs at your house because they just want to be a bit naughty and cheeky because you didn't want to help him dig his hole.
Yeah, I mean,
Was
I still disagree on moral grounds, but I can't refute that.
Yep.
is it because we can't understand it?
No, I
Surely
fully
you can understand that analogy.
I fully understand the
I-
analogy.
Yeah, I sort of do, but I kind of zoned out for a minute or two. Sorry, but
Oh,
yeah.
you're looking at fucking Volodymyr Zelensky's fucking chest hair or something.
No, I was actually talking to my mother, Benjamin.
Oh.
Say hello.
My
Hello, mother.
apologies. My apologies to everyone. Yeah, well, anyway, let's go back to the Ukraine and Australian troop situation.
So they're
I don't
clarifying.
think we should send.
Yeah.
I don't think we should send anyone.
I'd
I
argue
mean-
that even the Bushmasters we sold or sent to them was too much,
And I heard on the-
was too much.
Man,
No, I agree with the equipment, whatever. But I heard on the radio the other day, which is a very valid point. The Ukrainians are doing well enough as it is. What the fuck are we going to teach them?
That's very true.
Like they're kicking ass at the moment. We could
like
say,
I just
can't
said
we?
before with the American and British, they've already got people advising them. It's not like our specialists are going to be any better at helping them.
But what is our specialty in fucking desert warfare? It's fucking Ukraine.
Yeah,
That's
there's
just-
just
what are we
fucking
gonna teach
mud.
them?
Saying.
Oh well, I don't see we should send anything.
No.
Anyone, sorry.
I agree eye to eye with Matt on this. I'm fine with individuals sending their privately owned military surplus, and I'm happy with government. Or I'm not happy with government. I'm happy with medical aid, things like that, infrastructure assistance, things that help the individuals that are suffering in that war. But I don't think any sort of military assistance should be offered because it's none of our business.
How pussycat, this is also leading into the Ukraine. It's like how pussycat of Russia that they're losing their frontline offensives, so they're just bombing the shit out of civilian cities.
It is disgusting, but you not make that same argument for Ukraine. They're winning
What
the
do you
war.
mean?
Well, they're winning the war, so they bomb a civilian bridge.
But the civilian bridge was like that was the link to Crimea. That was I see
Being
where
used
you're
by
coming
military.
from, but that was the one link that the Russian military had to supplying Kherson. If they cut that off, they win their territory back.
And 3 civilians
Russia
died.
started this, man. Like I don't know why they get so pissed off when
the Russian government
like,
started
Ukraine.
this, not these poor fucking truck drivers that just died because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's
I don't
disgusting.
think anyone died on that bridge.
3 civilians died.
Oh, well, that is sad. But compared to how many Ukrainians, man?
And this isn't.
That
It's not about the whataboutism. You've got to be consistent with your ideas
Yeah,
all
but
the
they
time.
can't just do anything. They just like they got to just sit back and be moral about it. Like they're not absolutely massacring people. Like it was just I guess you don't want anyone to die as a casualty of like a civilian casualty of war. But they're not going out of their way to bomb Russian cities, while Russia is absolutely just slaughtering fucking civilians left, right, and center.
As brutal as it sounds, it's going to happen. There's nothing you can do to make a war, like with no civilians dying. As sad as it is, it's going to happen.
And like I said to you the other night, Matt, we should be making absolutely every precaution to avoid civilian casualties, and we should be criticising to the T any civilian casualties that happen.
They
Yes. No,
probably
I
waited for the
understand what you.
bridge to be absolutely minimal impact. Like they probably set it off as soon as there was no one there, but it's like someone was just in the
I,
right range for it. Like
I understand where you're coming from, Ben, and I completely agree. But like I said, it's brutal. It's war. Like, you know what I mean?
So should we just flog it off as collateral damage?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, the harsh reality is, it's gonna fucking happen. It's gonna happen.
And I acknowledge that.
I completely agree with you, Ben.
Hmm.
100%
we don't
agree
want
with
to
you.
see
I'm
people
just
die needlessly for
no,
like the
we don't.
ambitions of crazy
But
people.
we don't. But sadly, it's gonna fucking happen.
And unless like the Ukrainians fight back, man, that's just gonna keep like you can't just let them walk in and take everything because you're scared that you might accidentally kill a civilian. Like you need to fight. Like they're fighting back for their freedom.
I don't justify it. I don't justify it though. You know what I mean? I agree with Ben, but then it's also hard to say. It's a very hard topic, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of nuance in it.
Yes.
An infinite amount of nuance. Yeah.
Oh, but like I said earlier, like it's war and it's sad.
And it happens. It just happens. Like, but if one side just lets the other side take and do whatever the fuck they want, like, there's no point to even fucking like having what you have if you can't protect it and defend it.
Mm, no, it's a very on the fence kind of topic, isn't it? Like you don't
In
want to
all
lean more to
actuality,
one side
Ukraine
than the
could
other.
be
You know what I mean?
bombing the fuck out of Russia right now. Like they could just be
They could be.
hitting as many targets as they want to, but they're purely basing their entire premise of their military to defend Ukrainian territory,
Because
not
that's the only
to
moral position that they could take. As soon as they step one footstep in Russian territory, they've lost all moral ground they had before.
exactly. So they're just trying, like they're doing what they can.
What do you mean, Ben? Can you elaborate? If you don't mind
Well,
me asking.
say that Russia was pushed entirely out of Ukrainian territory, including the Crimea, and then the Ukrainian government decided to continue their advance. Do you think that's appropriate?
Well, if Russia says no to negotiations, then yes.
You think it's appropriate for them to then invade Russia, flipping the entire narrative of?
You
I
can't.
shouldn't say
You
narrative.
cannot. You cannot switch a war. Ukraine is on a defensive war. Yes.
Exactly,
Am
and
I
they'd be on
correct?
an
But as soon as they
offensive
push
war.
them out,
No. Wouldn't it still be? Well, if Russia says no to negotiations, then
yeah, he's
what the
also
fuck
right
happens?
then. Like if
I-
You
Russia did
can't
say
just switch
no,
No.
it because they step one fucking centimeter. Sorry, I don't mean to get so aggravated. My
No, no,
apologies.
no, no.
Because you step 1 centimeter onto their soil doesn't make you the aggressor.
It certainly does.
How?
It makes you an aggressor, not the aggressor, perhaps, because you're aggressing into their territory that was pre-established.
you flip
To
the script on them. But Russia isn't gonna. If they don't want to back down at that point, then
Then
like
it's
is
a
Ukraine
standstill
meant to
until they
just
do.
sit there
Yes,
and let them build up again?
yes.
That's just crazy, man. I don't. That's mental to me.
Well, it's mental to protect your own property and respect the property of someone else. If someone breaks into your house, Lucas, and you ward them out of your house, do you then go to their house and break into theirs?
If their house was right, let's say the analogy again is my neighbor breaking into my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken me like an hour to fucking push him out of my house.
I'll drive him
Man,
back to his house
I'm,
and
I'm gonna
flog
yeah,
him
I'm gonna
there.
follow him back to his house, right? Let's say he took your lawn chair, yeah?
Yes.
Your
Lawn
lawn
chairs
chair.
for your own barbecue,
Yes.
right? For his barbecue,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's come in and he's got the lawn chair and you've shoved him out of your house, but he's still got the lawn chair. And he's kind of backed into his house and he's just kind of sitting there. And you know, right, he's going to come back for your other two lawn chairs that you have for your mum and your dad. Just come sit around and have a few cheeky beers, on the weekend. You know he's sitting there. He's just watching you, waiting for you to turn around and go back into your house. You're just going to be like, right, I'm just going to stand here and just stand here and watch you too? Or you're going to be like, fuck you, I'm walking into your property to get my fucking shit back
That's
and not have you stare me down until I turn my back.
that's a totally different scenario because you've brought the concept of theft into it.
Well,
Ugh.
they've taken a lot of Ukrainian lives with them.
And that's not a physical piece of property that the Ukrainians can take back.
So you're
Yeah.
saying human life is not physical?
Well, it's already gone. Like
I don't know.
they didn't steal it. They
Sorry.
didn't steal it. Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah. It's
Luca's
what
got me confused with the lawn chair.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah. Look, that was just my. I'm just trying to
But no,
create
I
the
get what you're
logic
saying,
of
bro. Like, if someone broke into my house, I'll chase them back to their. If they're my neighbour, I'll chase them back to their house.
yeah,
I
that were
think
right
that's
next to
horribly
you. You know
immoral.
exactly who it is.
Do it, Ben. You think that if someone breaks into your house, you stand at the front and just stare at him, let him go to
He's
the
not
gym,
moving.
let him go to the gym, bulk the fuck up, come back and flog the piss out of you.
What stops me from going to the gym and bulking the fuck up as well?
Good point. I stand corrected.
The
But
key idea of property is that you defend yourself while also respecting your others. There's no justification for me to vacate my property and then invade someone else's and justify that by, oh, they were at mine first. They did it
so,
first.
why would the Ukrainians respect the Russians when there was, if
Because
I'm
it's morally
correct,
correct to do so.
but if I'm correct, at the start of the war there was bombing of apartment buildings, yes?
And there still is.
Yes. So that's, go back to the analogy, what would you do if fucking your neighbour breaks into your house? Oh, you've got a fucking lovely lounge in your lounge room, gets a sledgehammer, fucking breaks it.
I'd flog him.
Exactly. But then would you want to go back and flog his own lounge?
No. Because that's his
I
lounge.
would.
You've pushed him back into his house, and now he's got like now you're having your barbecue, and now he's just got like the fucking hose, and he's just spraying you from over the fence, and you can't go onto his property. He's just spraying you over the fence, ruining your fucking day, right?
Uh-huh.
You know that's like the analogy. The hose is the missiles.
Right, the
He's
hose
just
is the
spraying you and
missiles.
No, not
he's
the hose,
ruining
the
your
water
fucking
from the
day,
hose.
The water from the
right?
hose is the missiles, right? Okay.
But he's behind his fence, and you've just got to sit there and take that shit.
No, because he's violating your property rights.
So what do you do? Get your own hose, or do you just walk over it, like jump the fence and start kicking the shit out of him? How do you stop it?
Mm.
Hmm.
Thinking.
Thinking. Can I
Yeah.
take this
Put a rain check on that.
Yeah, let's put a rain check on that. We'll come back to that one next episode when I had some time to theorise my position on that.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Right,
I
well,
respect
there's
it.
two other major points in Ukraine. We'll just quickly cover it, like just because I want to see what you're on about, and then I think we should move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Belarus wants to join in the action, and
Mm-hmm.
have stated that very soon they are going to be sending their own troops to help. Um,
Very scary.
Do you reckon they will push through Belarusian land, or do you reckon they'll just send troops around onto the eastern border?
It's
Probably
very
push through
hard to
Belarusian
say.
land, I'd say.
I'd say it's probably 50-50. And it's very hard to predict what a fucking schizo would do, isn't it?
What's his name? Is it Kravchenko, whatever the fuck it
Lukashenko.
is? Lukashenko.
Opening a brand new front like that would just it wouldn't cripple the Ukrainians, but it definitely
Would hurt,
it would
it would
definitely
hurt.
fucking hurt them.
But, like, I can't imagine fucking Belarus would bring anything
Not
decent
major
to
to
the
the
table.
table, but if
Other than
Russia's got
fresh
all their
troops.
fucking battalions set up there,
Yeah,
ready
it's
to go too.
just fresh meat. I can't really formulate an opinion on it because I don't know whether or not he will push through Belarusian lands. All I know is that it's a fucking scary escalation getting a third country involved.
But not only is he doing that, he's also threatening Poland. He's saying Poland's building up troops, and he's told him to fuck off. We're doing the same now too, like as well as saying he's going to help Russia. He's threatening NATO at the same time, as well as trying to push into Ukraine. Like
Yeah,
he's
it's
being big balls for someone that doesn't really have a whole lot beside Russia, and Russia doesn't want NATO to be a part of this crap.
it's very scary.
Mm. Mm.
I think this is probably the closest we've been to a nuclear conflict since the 80s.
Oh,
I'd
even
quite easily.
Biden admitted it.
And Biden's pushing it in the wrong fucking direction. I don't care what that fucking insolent clown has to say.
Oh, but that's no. I'm just saying he's but the U.S. president has admitted that the world has not been closer to a nuclear Armageddon.
And it's his fault! That fucking
yeah.
senile old man, that cunt belongs in a home.
And then
You think we're really this close to a nuclear war?
Yes.
Oh yeah. What the fuck?
No, I'm just saying. But I don't know. As soon as Putin presses that big red button, he just fucked himself.
But he doesn't care. He's
Yeah. If
he
he doesn't
So-
care, right, then fucking North Korea's going to push their button too.
I did hear on the radio I don't know. There's a fucking theory that they might use tactical nukes on Ukrainian soil.
That is
Is that going
that is
around?
proper Soviet military doctrine, and it wouldn't surprise me if they
But
still uphold that. That's still a nuclear device going off on a battlefield.
yeah, but why would they? Why would they do that when? Because you think about it, a nuclear bomb goes off. All that affected land is or pretty much useless for how many years?
But it's a useless barren wasteland that they can use as a as a what is it, a country in between NATO. What would that be? A buffer. They'd still have a
A
buffer
buffer,
state.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's because they know NATO's going to take over Ukraine pretty soon if they don't do something. They still have a buffer, even though they've lost everything there.
I think the issue here, Matt, is that you're trying to make logic out of a totally illogical decision that would be made by totally illogical people.
Because they're threatening to use it. They have them and they can use them.
And whether or not they
Yeah, I
will
know,
is
and
a fucking coin toss, honestly.
I know, and I hope to God they don't use them.
As should everyone else on the planet.
No shit. All right.
Amen.
All right. And then the second thing, I'm not even sure what's going on with it, and I'm not sure what will happen. But one of those, or a couple of those missiles that they fired have hit a German embassy in one
I
of
did
the
see
cities.
that.
A consulate. Now, in Article 5, it states that any NATO infrastructure or peoples or whatever attacked by a foreign nation will be declared upon, like war.
Yeah, because isn't that an act of aggression?
I think
Towards
I
like an
suppose that's for
embassy.
Germany to decide. Do they
An
want to?
embassy is technically like still their land, right? Like
Yeah, because an embassy is the country's say that's the German land, isn't
that's
it?
their
Yes.
that's their law and
Germans
shit.
in Ukraine.
It's up to them
This
to
isn't
decide. I
1941.
guess. They could just be like, all right, we impose Article 5 as Russia has
They could.
attacked our country.
They couldn't. If they did, it'd be
They
game
do
over
have
for
a
us all.
they do have a very good justification for it, don't they?
Now they do.
Maybe
Yes.
that's what Russia fucking wants.
Do you think a damaged building is justification for the end of the world?
No, but I'm
They
saying NATO
it.
has a justification.
NATO has a legal justification, but certainly
Yes,
not a moral
a
one.
legal justification.
There was no one in the building. It was abandoned. Like
Oh.
there was no.
Who gives a fuck? Who
Yeah,
gives a
but you know
fuck?
what
German
they're
soil
like, man. They're
getting
looking
bombed?
for any fucking reason.
If they're looking for any reason, they would have invoked it already. I think that's just going to blow over.
Well, and I'd say I reckon it's probably honestly Russia purposely doing that to try and get a bite.
I would
Those
disagree.
missiles are pretty fucking unpredictable. They're probably just trying to bomb a city, and it just so
The
happens to
missiles?
hit one.
These are
Yeah.
Russian missiles we're talking about, Matt.
Ugh. I
Like
thought
they
you were
just,
talking
but they're
about-
bombing the shit out of cities. I don't think they really have direct targets when it comes to it. I think they're just trying to hit. Whatever
Yeah,
the fuck
it's
they-
like
Katyushas.
they're just fucking like smashing their iPad on the map.
basically.
Yeah,
And
like a
they're
fucking
just-
3-year-old.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those are
Yeah.
interesting points, and I think we've covered them pretty well.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
What
we
else
don't
would
need
you
to
like
sit
to
on
talk
that
to?
for all day.
This is interesting actually. I don't. This is So this is the Western Australian Emergency Management Amendment for Temporary COVID-19 Provision Bills of 2022. Basically, it's just like a emergency powers bill, like what the government has in terms of powers. It's a bill that I'm pretty sure, I can't guarantee that it was voted on the other day, and I haven't seen where that went yet since, because I can't fucking
This is
find
for
anything about it.
WA.
For WA. And I would like to direct you to the subsection 77M on page 13, where it says, for the purposes of COVID-19 management, while a COVID-19 declaration is in force, an authorised COVID-19 officer may take control or make use of any place, vehicle or other thing.
Oh my god.
The place,
So
vehicle, or other thing may be in or outside the declaration area. For the purpose of exercising the power under subsection 1, an authorised COVID-19 officer may enter, or if necessary, break into and enter any place or vehicle.
Oh boy.
That's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying if there's a COVID-19 officer, they can go to my car, break it, hotwire it, and use it.
Legally, yes.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
That is
It is
filthy.
gross government overreach, isn't it?
Fucking Western Australia.
They just fucking, they can't get Mark McGowan's cock out of their mouth, I don't think. They fucking love him. Oh, yes, tread on me. Oh, take my civil liberties away. Oh. They just can't get enough of it, and it's fucking
Isn't
foul.
COVID-19 basically over?
Yeah, it has been for months.
I heard like basically all the COVID-19 laws got rid of today.
Yeah,
You don't have to isolate now
pretty
unless
much.
you've got symptoms.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. What I thought was even more interesting was that Pfizer really recently admitted in the European Parliament that they didn't know whether the vaccine would stop transmission.
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
that was
that's so
very
weird.
interesting.
Mate, we knew from the start it was just a money grab.
Then why did we fucking sit down and let people force us to take it?
I don't know. I just wanted to go to the pub. That's why I did it.
I mean, I can kind of see why that is as well. I only took it because I would have lost my job otherwise, and in hindsight, I absolutely regret taking it.
Whatever.
I've only got one jab.
Yeah, I only got the first two.
I never got the second or
I
the
got two.
third.
Yeah, I didn't get anything more than the first two. And
I mean, at the end of the day, I still got COVID and survived it.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
I thought all of that was interesting. How the Western Australian government is trying to let them break into your house and car legally.
Yeah, why the fuck would they have to break into a house?
I don't fucking know. It's probably some bullshit. Oh, so we can, test you or something.
Yeah, but they're
Bro,
gonna do
if-
that for like the suspected like drug dealers or whatever, just so they don't have to have warrants and whatnot.
Yeah, that'll be it.
If a COVID-19 officer broke into my house in the middle of the night, I'd probably end up fucking punch him in the mouth.
Absolutely.
And
I
they'd be
would
like,
walk
actually,
out
I'm
naked
legally
in the
allowed
middle
to
of
do
a
this.
hallway, like in the dark with a knife. And I
According
wouldn't do
to
anything, I'd just go
77M,
down.
I'm allowed to do this. Fuck
Only if
off.
you live
Bang.
in Perth, because that's the only populated city in that fucking shithole desert.
Legit.
Saw a TikTok today that some cunt in WA got banned from all the state's pubs and like bottle-os and stuff.
What
He's
do
not
you do?
allowed.
Why?
He's no longer allowed to consume alcohol.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
How do you stop someone? You can't just
From
say
every
you're
pub.
legally not allowed to... Like, did every pub agree to that, or did the government tell you
Yeah,
you're not allowed
and
to go
are
to
they
pubs?
warned about every
Yeah.
every pub, every shop that sells alcohol, like everywhere?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna. And if that was
Why?
the case, right? How long are they gonna remember this guy for? And if so, his mates can just buy him alcohol and give it to him anyway.
It wasn't fucking Tash Peterson,
Nah,
because she's banned from every WA pub, apparently.
that's funny.
What,
For
for
doing
causing...
what?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
my
God.
god.
This chick, yeah.
Yeah, look, KFC represent. Oh, mad tits.
Yeah, titties,
Sorry.
whoa.
Too bad she's a vegan. Whoa.
She also doesn't look terrible, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, but she kind of looks like a Karen.
She's definitely a Karen in the making. Give her 10 years and she'll have one of those fucking stupid haircuts.
Who was she banned for?
I don't know, probably fucking because she's a fucking
Protesting
dopey
in
bitch. I
pubs.
still don't agree with that. The government should have no say in where people go on private property. The Use of Liquor Control Act.
Every licensed venue in Western Australia.
So the ban includes restaurants, bars, nightclubs, pubs, licensed events, and liquor stores.
Yeah, right. So
Do they cite? Okay, the Commissioner of Police or his delegate has the power to issue such a ban when they believe, on reasonable grounds, that the person has been violent, disorderly, indecent, or broken any law at or near licensed premises. That's a joke. Why the fuck does the Commissioner of Police have power to ban people from private property?
I don't live in that state. It just sounds like a tyrannical country over there.
Yeah, I mean, I do this a lot, but I'm just like the old man yelling at a cloud meme.
Basically.
Yeah, but that's fucking pathetic. I hate to say this, it ills me to say this, but poor Tash Peterson.
Yeah.
Moving on. What else have we got? Do we want to talk about anything else in this list I've put in here?
No, maybe we go something nice now.
Yeah?
I
Yeah.
don't think there's ever anything fucking nice.
There's not much nice, is there? Did we want to talk about Alex Jones? Because that only happened yesterday.
Yeah, that was crazy, the Sandy Hook thing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Piercy?
Now, did you see that his lawyers accidentally leaked all his texts for
I
the
did
past
see
2
that when
years
that
to
happened,
the
yeah.
opposing attorney?
Yeah.
How does that fucking happen?
I genuinely think that was a dagger in the back. There's no
That
way
was
they accidentally did
that was a betrayal, and
Yeah.
these guys have just lost all their credibility. They are no longer going to be a law firm. They've lost all
Yeah,
their job.
they are fucked because they've done that, whether they think it's justifiable or not.
Yep. So I don't. But look, Alex Jones is a nut job in the fact that he just over like extends himself with everything. He overworks himself to find all this information.
I think he's a
But
nut job in every sense of the word, but he's very funny
yeah, but
when he
in
goes in
most
these little
regards,
tangents.
Is it only funny because he's a nut job?
Yes, that's exactly right.
when it comes to his arguments, he's always prepared. Like it's not like I'm not saying I agree with most of it or whatever, but he's a man that always comes prepared with his shit. And when it comes down to it, when he wants to know his shit, he'll look it up and he will study it all fucking night long. He will print pages upon pages so that when it comes to an argument, he has shit to back him up, even though some of it's dumb. But he does. He's a pretty like well versed man when it comes to information. He just doesn't follow through with it very well, and most of it's
Yeah,
pretty retarded.
it's
So
so
what?
confusing.
Contrails turn the frogs
Yeah,
gay,
it's confusing that this is the same man that thinks that contrails turn frogs gay.
and you're saying Lucas he researches this, and he's very
He
smart
delves into
on
everything, man.
contrails turning
Yeah,
frogs
but
gay.
no, Matt. But then you can pick and choose one thing out of everything. That Sandy Hook massacre thing is crazy. Like absolutely crazy. I don't know where he's come up with that like idea because the fact that like there are mass shootings in America like practically every fucking day, it doesn't make sense that just they're gonna stage one and like turn it into whatever. But like there's a lot of other things that like if you've watched if like I've watched a lot of his shit. A lot of it is crazy, but there's some things like he knew about the Jeffrey Epstein Island 10 years before they found it out. And he was telling everyone they're taking all these children, there's all these celebrities, everybody's going to this island that Jeffrey Epstein owns. And they're doing all this shit to like, like human trafficking and shit.
And he was
And
right.
everybody's like, he's a nut job, he's a nut job. 10 years later, he was fucking right. And everyone was like, just overlooked it completely. Like, back
What are you,
10
what are you
years
saying?
ago, they thought he was a nut job and a crazy cunt that didn't know what he was fucking talking about.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that a madman
A,
is
a
perceived as a
broken
clock
madman
clock
right
until
could be
twice
he
a
is.
right.
day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's,
what you're saying is contrails could be turning the frogs gay.
yeah, in
Yes.
10 years' time, we could find that out. Who the fuck knows?
If contrails are actually turning the frogs gay, I'm giving you both $1,000.
I don't know if
That's
that
on
was
that's
just a
on record.
joke, because I think it's hard to tell when he's being
I've
sarcastic
never.
and when he's
I,
actually
I
being
think that I
serious.
think he's dead serious in that one.
He says it with a lot of
A lot
a
of
lot of
a lot of
oomph.
hoopla.
Yes.
When it comes to him, don't believe everything he says, but
No,
there's a lot of,
definitely
like,
not.
back when he
Get a
was,
second
like,
opinion.
journalizing and stuff like that, like, when he was pursuing politicians and, like, going up to him and saying, like, with paper saying, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you talk about it, and, like, you might like his side back when he was doing, like, the journalism, Ben, when he was properly chasing politicians. Like, there was one where,
Mhm.
like, all these politicians go out to this massive bonfire where there's, like, a demon head that they burn.
Oh, the
They're all
Bohemian
in cloaks
Grove.
and just yeah, and they fuck each other and shit.
Yeah,
The fuck?
Yeah, he infiltrated that entire thing
yeah.
and then just went up to everyone and saying, "What the fuck are you all doing, you sick fucks?" And they all kicked him out. Like when he was a proper journalist, he was finding out this crazy, wacky shit that was going on.
Do you think?
Yeah,
And
but
he
Then,
aren't
was,
they
Lucas,
allowed to do that?
do you think then that there's an argument to be made that he has exposed them, and as a result of that, they are not very happy and have since gone out to make him look like a nut job
yeah,
to
that's
discredit him?
like he's gone crazy. The thing is, he's gone crazy because of it. Like he's overworked himself and overstressed himself with so much. Like he's just groping all this information like from everywhere. Like he's just
Hey,
grabbing it,
groping?
putting it. I don't know what I. Sorry, that's just
I
a
think you
word I
said
use.
groping.
Sorry. I don't know. He's just like cramming himself with so. He's just overworked himself to the point where he's just gone crazy with everything. I think. But like 20 years ago, when he was doing that proper journalism shit, he was like calling out politicians and he was calling out all these bad, crazy people. And they just shut him down. Like all they could do is like they could shut him down easily because he was kind of like a nobody really back then. And then he did the info wars. I think that's where it's been a problem is because when you're posting all this stuff on like a crazy YouTube channel, people can like pick at shit and like I said, it's hard to tell when he's being sarcastic or what, but he has gone crazy.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of things that like he's been he properly pursued and properly called people out for.
Do you think then that he was justified in what he said about Sandy Hook?
I'm not saying because you can't like say, oh, Matt was a really nice guy. You like, let's say Matt murdered somebody, but 10 years ago he was a really good bloke. You
Uh-huh.
can't say that
Yeah,
oh, because he
exactly.
was a good bloke 10 years ago,
He didn't do it. Yeah.
he didn't do it
Yeah.
or he didn't
Okay.
mean to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's totally fair.
like he probably he's being. I reckon he's being a crazy. Like, but who knows? In 10 years' time, the government could come out and say, yeah, we paid all these actors. I'm not saying that's happened, but like,
It's,
who knows that he could just know something that's so crazy that he's just trying to get the truth out, and
Uh-huh.
because he's been shut down and called a lunatic and all this crazy sick shit,
Do you
like that
think
he's.
that it's justifiable for a jury to find him liable for 965 million US dollars in damages to the victims of Sandy Hook?
Holy fuck!
Mm-hmm.
What, close to $1 billion?
$1 billion pretty much in damages because he
That's
said some
crazy.
things about them.
No, that's crazy.
I think the damages should be zero.
I think, yeah, because you're allowed to say what you want.
Exactly.
Why is it so, like, yeah, it's detrimental to the families that went through it. But look at, like, you can even make the argument with, like, the Jeffrey Dahmer, like, TV show that they made. What, can they be taken to court and be fined $1 billion because they made a show about, like, this guy
Yeah.
and then the families are upset?
The,
Like,
the way I always put it with people is that I can't be held responsible for how someone else interprets what I say. That is entirely on them. All of their conscious thought, all of how they interpret everything around them is on them and not me. I cannot be held responsible for how they interpret things. If I say something about someone, let's say, Lucas, that I say to Matt that you're a schizophrenic, and Matt then hears that and goes and beats the fuck out of you. Who is responsible for you getting beaten? Is it me or Matt?
Matt.
Exactly.
There's no what you do because of what someone said or thought is two different things, man. Like,
Exactly, dude.
so
It makes me so happy that someone finally fucking understands this, because I've told this to so many people, and they say, "Oh well, no."
you got to be careful what you say. Like, no, what you do as an action to what people say is two different things. And like, if I'm gonna say I'm going to like kill someone, I'm going to kill someone. Yeah, maybe the first couple of times, yeah, it's like all right. But if you keep
Yeah,
going, there'd
that's
be a
a
serious threat
that's a
then.
different story, because that's threatening violence on someone.
But man was just making a statement. Yeah, he was pushing it a lot. And the thing was, too, I think like a lot of his followers and stuff were messaging the families and
Yes,
stuff.
that's the justification there. Everyone says, "Oh, Alex Jones should be held liable because he said these things and that caused all his followers to go harass the victims."
But he wasn't calling out for them to
No,
do that.
he's not responsible for that. The people harassing them are directly and solely responsible for the harassment that they themselves performed, and that is the epitome of free speech. There is that he should not have been held accountable for what he said in a court of law.
But you look at it, Ben, like you said, like you think all these politicians and stuff, maybe they're just doing this so that they when they win, he's completely shut down.
Yeah,
Like there's no coming back for it. Like how
it's
you
very
can't. The
possible.
guy, I guarantee you, he doesn't have more than probably from everything he's done, he wouldn't have more than like $5 million.
No, his
No
net
way in the
worth
world.
is about 130 million.
Oh, for real? What the fuck?
That's through Infowars and its parent company. But
Okay.
that's his net
He
worth,
doesn't
not
own that.
cash in hand.
Yeah, he doesn't own all that.
That
though.
is
Like,
cash in hand. Yeah.
I guarantee. Well, if that's the case, then probably 10 to 20 million, if that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm gonna say most of that went to assets. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
90% of that's
whatever.
going to assets. Yeah.
They are asking for this man to be in a debt that, like, probably 10 to 20 generations down the line of his
No
fucking
one is
bloodline
going to
wouldn't
see
be
a
able to
cent
pay.
of the money that they're entitled to by the court.
So what are they trying to prove then?
They're not trying to prove anything. I don't think. I think you're spot on the money when they say they're just trying to get him to sit down and shut up and go away.
They want to shut everything down completely.
Yeah, like it's insane to me that they can. It's the biggest fucking. Let me put this in perspective. Union Carbide, which is a natural gas company in the 80s, was responsible for a gas leak in India that killed 15,000 people and exposed 500,000 people to toxic chemicals. and
Yep.
they were ordered to pay 400 million in a court of law in damages.
Yeah.
It's
There's
it's not even remotely comparable.
so now that has just kicked into my brain that like now there's something like sneaky going on in this, and it's like if you read into it too much, then you're probably gonna go crazy yourself. Like that's
Well,
the too much with it.
Look, I'm
sorry,
probably already going crazy.
what were you saying about the Indian thing?
Union
Fucking
Carbide.
yeah, had
So
to pay 400 million.
I think it was 470 off the top of my head in 80s dollars, which comes out to about the same, a little bit less adjusted for inflation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still
But they killed
total.
people. This man just
They were
said something.
responsible for the deaths of 15,000 people, and
Don't
like
worry.
8,000 crippled people, 30,000 injuries, and 500,000 cases of exposure to toxic fucking chemicals.
What? Why is he saying this about Sandy Hook anyway? What isn't this just another shooting? Why has he picked this one out?
I don't. There was probably a reason that he picked it out. I don't know. I genuinely I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe it was because Sandy Hook was so particularly abhorrent when it happened. It was like the school shooting after Columbine, because those Columbine and Sandy Hook in the sort of early '90s to mid 2010s were the really only two big school shootings that have happened. When you then go to the last sort of 3-4 years, when we've had probably 10 that I can think of with more than 5 casualties that would actually constitute a mass shooting. Probably about 10 in the last 5 years, as opposed to 2 in the previous 20 odd. Hello?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
yeah. It's just I don't know. It's too much there. I don't want to break it down because what happened there is sad. It's any mass shooting or any killing or murdering of any kind is
Mm.
just sad. But
And
then again, if he's coming forward and saying he's got proof and all this stuff, um, why doesn't he have the right for himself to go out and expose
exactly.
himself like that to do it?
I would go a
He's
step
not.
further. I would say that even if he didn't have proof and he was just saying these abhorrent things, which are abhorrent without proof, if he's saying these abhorrent things, he should still be allowed to say them, as is protected by the United States' First Amendment, the most important document in the world.
He's not encouraging violence. He didn't. I'm almost 100% certain he would not have said, "Go out and message these people and harass these families for me."
With all the people I've argued with, I've asked for this, and none of them have able to produce a sample of them of him directly inciting violence. So I'm led to believe that it didn't happen. Therefore,
So
he's
let's
an
say,
innocent
right,
man.
he's crazy, yeah? Let's say just in this scenario that he's crazy, he's a madman, and he has all this following. Whose fault is that? Is it really his fault for making money off this dumb shit? Or is it the fault of everyone that's following him to be dumb fucks?
Uh,
Right.
It's not necessarily no one's fault, or anyone's fault. It's just he's making money. Yeah, who gives a fuck? He's making it's none of anyone else's business how someone makes money, as long as they're doing it in a way that doesn't directly and physically impact the rights and the livelihoods of or not even the livelihood, just the rights of someone else.
Or they're not trying to invoke it anyway.
Yeah,
Because what has happened is what he's been doing has caused that shit, but he's not the one invoking it. He's not asking anyone to do it. He hasn't. I'm almost certain he would have stated that he doesn't want people to do that. It says like yeah. It says that he's apologized a billion times. Like he
and he
just.
has. That is something I know for a fact, that he has apologized for some of these statements.
But there's a point where it's like if you keep like you keep saying sorry and it's like it's not getting you anywhere. How many more times do you have to say it until you're like I'm done?
That's right.
Like you should if you don't believe I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep saying it and I want to move on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
You
right.
can't keep you can't keep saying sorry your entire life for if no one believes you.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's about all I can say on that topic. It's unfortunate for everyone involved.
I see you've got I looked at this one too. The trans women must register for drafts.
Yes, that I thought was interesting as well.
Very interesting.
For those that are uninitiated, the United States still has a draft, which in itself is a horrid piece of information. I'm sorry you had to be made aware of that.
I didn't even know that. Matt, did you know that?
That the United States has still had a draft.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they do. It's abhorrent, and I'm sorry that any of you had to be exposed to such a fact. But President Joe Biden has come out and said that a man or a person who was born a man, a person who was born a man and now identifies as a woman must still register for the draft, and conversely, a woman or someone who was born as a woman who now identifies as a man cannot.
Or isn't forced to. They can.
Isn't for they can. Have I read that wrong?
No, no, yeah, they can. They can like
Okay.
because women can still serve in the army, Ben.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know they
But
were allowed to sign up to the fucking draft.
But the 40s.
yeah,
Fuck me
they
dead.
can. Like if they want to, they can,
Okay,
but they're
well,
not forced
there you
to.
go. I stand corrected. And it's still very interesting. And I've noticed a lot of people that are usually very, very pro Biden and also very sort of trans rights orientated are very quiet on this one.
So
um,
yeah, so why it's it's a move that's very controversial for him being as liberal as he is.
he's not very
That
liberal.
he's not.
He's more
Oh,
liberal. He's more
he
liberal than his predecessor.
yeah, yeah. I know because I knew all that too. Like like 20, 30 years ago, man, you can tell that he was most definitely not a liberal.
No,
Um, but
he
he's
wrote the 1994 crime bill. He signed
yeah,
off
that was
on the
bad.
he signed off on Waco, and Ruby Ridge. He was all for the government fucking
But
killing all
his
those people.
entire campaign to be president was based off the equality for everyone. Like, they did all that. Like, there was that whole promotion behind him for being a liberal man who promoted equality for all,
Hmm.
for all colors and all this. Like, that's why he had the first, what was it, vice president of color that's a woman,
Oh, Kamala
did all
Harris.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, he did all this shit, but this doesn't make sense to me that if you believe anyone can do what they want, but like, and say what they want, but you're going to go back on it and say, oh, transgender woman is technically still a man in the case of this scenario. Why is it just in that scenario?
It's because he's a giant hypocrite, Lucas. He ultimately doesn't care about these people wholeheartedly. He cares about their vote. And the good way to get their vote was to get it. And now he's in power for the next 2 years. Now he can turn around and clarify that yes, we're dragging you into a war, and when we go to war, we're implementing the draft, and you're signing up, motherfucker. Fucking buckle up. That's what he's saying, and that's how most conventional career politicians in the United States are. They don't care about the individual. They care about the individual's vote and their own self interest.
Yeah, that was
Mm.
yeah, it was crazy. Like, because I was shocked to find out they still have a fucking draft. Like,
It's pathetic. It is totally pathetic.
and I was gonna come to you, Matt, and ask you if you fucking knew about that. Like,
No, I honestly didn't know. Like, they're still in use.
Yeah. Now
yeah,
look at this tweet here from the Selective Service, which is the government agency that runs the draft. They put out a tweet and said, "Parents, if your son is an only son and the last male in your family to carry the family name, guess what? He's still required to register with Selective Service and just join the draft."
No, is there still a draft on where, like, every year they pull out
It's
a
not
couple of
active,
thousand
but you have
names?
to register for it. So if it goes
Oh,
active, you're eligible. You are in the ballot, pretty much.
yes, okay. Yep,
Yeah,
okay, I understand now.
yeah. So what they're basically saying in that tweet is, we're happy to send the last heir to your clan to die for a war that we solely started and solely benefit from. That is exactly what the government is telling you in that tweet. And there's
Wait.
2.9 thousand replies that I'm sure very well agree with my consensus there.
which is mad. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the world we live in now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's insane. Yeah, it's very interesting that they've actually done that.
well, like field of armies and stuff like that, because most a lot of European nations still do it. Do you think like men between a certain age should be required to just do a bit of military
No,
service? No.
not in the slightest. As soon as as soon as you either coerce or force someone into service that they don't voluntarily sign up for, you're violating their rights and freedoms, and that's abhorrent.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it, forcing it upon anyone. At the same time, like just a year's worth of service, like would be good. I think our ADF, they do a gap year thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best idea you could come up with. Do a gap year so it
Any
provides
idea
something
that's
for anyone.
voluntary, I'm fine with. I don't give two fucks. It's when you force everyone that graduates high school to then join the army for a year that becomes abhorrent. I know if it happened here, I would have dodged it.
I think it prepares people for survival scenarios and stuff like that because
They
the
can do
world
that on
went
their
to
own if they
shit.
so please. It's not the
Yeah,
government's business to tell them whether or not they should be prepared. It's no one's business other than themselves to figure that out. If they want to go learn survival skills, they can choose to join the army to learn that. They can do that on their own. But if someone doesn't have any interest in it, they don't want to do it, it's no one's fucking business to tell them they need to.
I've accidentally opened up Netflix again. Give me a
Nice.
Good one. Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
Right, I'm back.
yeah, he's back. Sorry for the
Well,
technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Lucas opened Netflix.
yes,
Yeah.
and there's a new cartoon called Oddball that I have no idea what it's about or will
Oddball.
never be watching.
Not
So,
sponsored by Oddball, ladies and gentlemen. I don't
yep,
need.
don't
I
know
don't
what it
need
is, don't want to
network.
touch it.
I don't need Netflix lawyers knocking on my door.
I do.
You do.
Yep.
What do
You
you
can
need them
handle
for?
that shit.
Yeah, that's totally on you. For your information, has no affiliation with that statement.
For the record, me and Ben have no affiliation with that
Correct.
statement.
That is totally correct.
I
And
think
I'll
I'm
be
a,
taking
I
no
think I'm a
further
third of
questions without
this.
the presence of an attorney. Thank you.
Oh, well,
Sorry,
guess I'm
Lucas,
on
you're
my
on your
own
own, brother.
yep, that's fine.
Yeah, just gotta wipe the slate clean. Yeah. So that's that one. What else have we got here? Do we want to watch the burger chewing without a burger license from the
I feel like I
Libertarian
want
Party
to.
of Delaware?
Yeah, what is that?
So,
First of all,
basically,
how are we running on time?
we're at
I
50
think we got like
minutes.
another, yeah.
Yep,
So
another
we got
10.
time
Let's
to...
go.
So, the context behind this video, ladies and gentlemen, is in San Antonio, Texas, in a McDonald's parking lot. A 7-month veteran of the San Antonio Police Department, a probationary officer, was called to a disturbance. And while he was investigating disturbance, in the corner of the eye, he catches a vehicle. And this vehicle looks like a vehicle that ran from him the night before. So in his infinite wisdom, this policeman goes up to the vehicle without checking its plate or anything, without doing any of that. He goes up to the door, flings the driver's door open, and says to the 17-year-old kid in the driver's seat to get out of the car. This kid has a fucking Big Mac in his hand, and he freaks the fuck
Munching
out.
on it,
He's
as you
literally
would.
having dinner with his missus, or his sister, or whatever, because there's a female passenger in the front seat.
Mrs. Sister, same thing in Texas.
It's Alabama. Cousins in Texas.
No, steers and... Oh, I won't say that word.
Don't say that. No. Steers and men entwined of other men. But yeah, this poor cunt with his Big Mac freaks the fuck out because some big burly motherfuckers just ripped his door open and told him to get out of the car. He puts it in reverse and drives away, sort of like clipping the cop with his driver's car or driver's side door because the door's still
I
open.
think he even hit the cop.
He might not have even hit the cop.
No, I don't think the car even moved. I think the cop saw that he put it in reverse and just ripped him out.
Well, he tried to. He tried to rip him out, but he kept going and the cop let go because it was going a bit too quick. This cop then produces his service weapon and mag dumps this kid.
Oh.
Two
that.
5-round volleys. One as he was perpendicular with the cop, and one as he was driving away. He managed to pull out into a gas station across the street, and the kid's now in a critical condition. He survived, incredibly. And the cop has been fired, effective immediately, and I'm hoping that criminal charges have been brought. Criminal charges were brought against the kid for
What?
resisting arrest and fleeing. But the district attorney said that's fucking stupid and got rid of them.
I mean,
Nice.
all the police officer had to fucking do was check the plates, or if just knock on the window and say, "Hey, mate, can I see some ID?"
And he could have done everything better. Let's watch the full video.
Is this violent? Do we need to warn people?
This does contain violence, yes.
Okay, put a warning to our viewers.
Get out of the car. Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Earlier, you got a return on it right now.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Shots fired on 3161, 11 and 100, Blanco Road.
It was about 6 rounds, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Anyone
it
can
meant
do
to
it.
me
Ten.
that that's their first reaction over there is to pull out a handgun and just dome a cunt.
I don't
Like-
think that's certainly not the reaction of everyone. This is the reaction of an individual that should be in fucking
Extremists,
prison for
yes.
the rest of their life.
Agreed.
What is more
disgusting.
accurate is to say that the go-to situation for most cops in America is to actually go and just rip the door open and put a 17-year-old in cuffs. That's generally what they'd be more inclined to do. But most of them aren't stupid enough to then mag dump them.
No, but like I said, all I had to do was check the plates or knock on the window and politely ask for some ID.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, you know how it was on the radio, he's like, shots fired, shots fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the one who's shooting.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you reckon the cops on the other side are going, holy fuck, my
We got
mate
an
is
opposite
down here.
pin
That is
down.
my first
Yeah.
thought. Is that, oh shit, he's been fired upon at the McDonald's.
So-
You know, Luke, I was literally thinking about that as he was calling that out.
Yeah. So is that a requirement of the police officers over there? If they're the ones that start the shooting, that they have to call that out like that?
I would
Or
imagine
is
so,
it-
because I've seen plenty of police shootings where they do call the shots fired, and I mean I'm not an American policeman, I wouldn't know, but I would imagine so considering the volume of people that do it in both justified and unjustified shootings. But this one is fucking disgusting. And what is his name? Let's see if I can.
Was the 17-year-old armed?
No, he wasn't.
Mm.
Funny, I was in the KFC yesterday and I was talking to a cop was in there getting some food with us,
Yeah.
saying hello and chatting. I was standing next to him and I was looking, at his firearm. I'm like, oh, so have you ever had to use that? He goes, oh, this bad boy here. I'm like, yeah, that one. He's like,
This
no,
bad
no.
boy.
And I'm like, yeah, he's like, no, I've never had to use it. Like, we only use that in the most extreme of cases. Like, we only pull it out if we're ever
If
being
you're getting
properly-
shot at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, it's just funny because I had the conversation with him, and I'm like, oh, so what kind of like caliber rounds do you guys use? I think he said, I
9
don't
mil.
remember clear. No, they don't use 9 mils. They use
40 Smith and Wesson?
45.
45.
Or whatever it was. Yeah, something like that.
45?
That's interesting.
What did you
Was
say,
it a-
Ben?
I would
A
have thought
Glock or a
40 Smith
revolver?
and Wesson.
I think that's what it was.
40?
I-
40 Smith and
Because
Wesson?
I heard the 40, and I didn't hear the rest of what he was saying. So it was either that or 45.
Well, see, my mum had a 9 mil. So I thought everything was 9 mil.
Yeah, he
There could
said
be-
so.
there
They
could have
are
changed since.
Glocks. But he
I
said
mean, there
they're
are 40. There are Glocks chambered in 40 and 45.
Yeah, well, he said that they're going to be. They want to switch them to 9 mils just because. Because I'm like, oh, so that's the stopping rounds you have, and he goes, yeah. Like he's like, oh, you don't know if you know much about guns. Like I'm not affiliated with them much, but I know the lingo. He's like, yeah, it's like apparently they want to switch them to. It's like a high caliber Glock that can hold 9 mil rounds, just because most cops like. He's like, if you ask most cops, they're going to prefer it because it has like a higher stopping power.
Yeah, that's...
Um,
well...
40 Smith and Wesson, yeah, because it's got a bigger
yeah, it's
projectile.
a bigger projectile. But you're also going to be able to fit less rounds in the magazine.
Yeah, bullets. Yeah, that's what he was also saying.
Hmm.
But he said they were getting a newer style Glock that has less recoil, less rounds though, but more firepower basically. Like, oh, that's cool. And he goes, yeah, you can like on the new ones you
Could
can
have a
put
go?
like,
No.
attachments on them. You put like flashlights or like scopes on them. Like, oh, that's
Yeah, they've got
sick.
Picatinny rails and... yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just having a nice little chat with him at the KFC. You know, in my fucking council gear, him in his fucking cop gear.
Yeah.
He was
Two-
fresh. He looked like he was new to it.
Yeah.
So.
Like new to town or like new to the job?
Oh, he looked pretty young, like
Yeah.
brand new, fresh, like
Oh,
haircut, like
I hope the
freshly
best
shaved
for him.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope, like especially, I
Good
hope,
on him. I hope he doesn't
hope
turn
he
into a
does
piece
well.
of shit.
and I like good on him for having a chat about it. Like it's not like I was a threat to him. Like like
Yeah,
I
you
just
just
asked
yarn
a
him.
question,
Yeah.
and he gave me solid answers, and he had a
Yeah,
chat to me about
absolutely.
it. And I was
Ku-
like,
Kudos to the lovely constable that spoke to Lucas in KFC today.
yeah.
Or the other day.
What a gentleman.
Yeah.
And then we both, said enjoy our days and went parted ways.
Yeah.
So
That's very interesting.
See, that's the good side of the police force that the media doesn't see.
Mm.
I think he was just he genuinely like looked happy that someone was talking to him about like his job, Like I feel like a lot of people see them and they're just like in a way intimidated, so they just don't really want to talk to them.
Justifiably
Well,
so.
people just are disgusted by them. I don't see why. I feel like
I
I
can see
respect the police.
I can see why people are disgusted by certain police,
Oh yes, but
like
Oh, of
certain.
course.
it's not
Yeah,
all of them.
I
But
hold
like,
highway
I think
patrol
he
to a
was just
lower
happy to
standard
have
than
a
say general
chat.
duties.
Yeah, but that's highway patrol. Everyone knows them.
Exactly, is exactly what I'm saying.
But I mean, if a highway patrol pulled you over, right, and just was polite and very nice, I'd be okay, cool. I
Give
like
them the
you.
same respect back.
I'd give him the
Yes,
same respect as I would any other person and no more.
but
But
just because you're highway patrol, I wouldn't disrespect it more.
If he was
I
being
I'd
a
was,
think
fucking
I'd
wank
think
stain,
to
I would.
myself, oh yes. But if it was just rocking up to the window, oh g'day mate, can I just see your license and having a general chit chat, fucking oath. Good
most
on
of
you.
them are like that in general. Like
Yeah,
I personally have never had it, and I've had, you hear stories and whatnots, but like, I was a little intimidated. Like, I was like, oh, should I ask this or not? But I said, fuck it, just throw it in the wind. And he looked genuinely happy and like surprised, and he was like, I'll have a chat to you. And it's like, I think it just goes to show, like, if you're in that situation, you want to ask questions, just go for it. And if they
Yeah.
don't want to tell you, they'll tell you to, well, they won't tell you to fuck off, but they just won't like go down that road. And that's the worst case scenario. They're not going to go off at you for asking a question. So I
yeah.
think, yeah, if we want to end it on that
That's
good
that's a
note, happy
perfect
note,
note to end. Ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We had a great time. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to check us out on all our platforms. We're currently on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. We're working on more soon. Check out our Discord. It'll be in the description. We like to have chats. Tell us what you think. Give us suggestions on how to improve, and find a whole host of information about us. My name's Ben. We've got Matt and Lucas. Thank you. Have a good one.
no worries,
Hey
lads.
guys.